What is up, wrestling fans? Welcome to another edition of the Smark Out Moment Smack Talk podcast. This is actually a Smark Announce Table edition of the show, which I might actually be renaming. I might be calling it Fan Announce Table. I don't know 100% for sure. Let me know what you think about that. I kind of like that a little bit better. I like fan tracks for fanboys and fan announce, you know, it works. That's the first thing you need to leave a comment about. Who's going to be talking on this edition? Well, I'm your host, as always, Tony Mango, and as I mentioned most of the time, we've got Callum Wiggins and Robert DeFelice.
Hello.
Yeah. Double main event.
Double main event.
Double main event this week. It's a typical WWE scenario where we just overload you with content and give me more work to do. That's how it works. But we didn't know what we were going to do this week. And when we had the poll up and gave people the option to pick, these were the two things that were the most voted on. It was Superstar Scores page, which we've already done, and this, a Smark Announce Table or a Fan Announce Table, a commentary track of sorts for a previous Money in the Bank ladder match. And between all the different options, we don't really have anything that's like 100% tied into the current Money in the Bank, because that's what we're doing this based off of, you know, to prep us for the 2018 Money in the Bank event. And even though we don't know who's going to win, like, we could go back and we could watch the one where The Miz won, but maybe The Miz doesn't win this year, and then it doesn't seem as relevant. Or maybe we look back on just the second one because we've already done the first one. Well, I didn't really want to watch one with RVD. So instead, we're doing similar to a different type of segment that I had wanted to do in the past, where it's you just look back at what happened 5, 10, 20 years ago. We're just going to go back in time 10 years ago to the 2008 Money in the Bank ladder match that happened at WrestleMania 24. That took place at the Florida Citrus Bowl in, well,
Orlando.
Florida, you know, Orlando, on March 30th, 2008. If you're unfamiliar with how Smark Announce Table or the commentary track or whatever we're calling it works, this is what we're going to do. We're going to give you a little bit of preliminary info, and then when it comes down to actually doing our commentary track, where you'll be able to watch the video along with us and, you know, listen to our point of view and stuff like that, I'm going to give you guys a countdown. For copyright reasons, we can't provide you with the video itself. YouTube will definitely not allow that. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go to the WWE Network at the link that's on below. You know, network.com/video/ whatever the little numbers are and stuff like that. And eventually you'll be at 22 minutes and 11 seconds. That's 02211. And we'll give you a 3, 2, 1 play. And then when you hit play, you'll be synced up with us because we'll hit play at the same time. But before we get into the actual, like, let's just start, Callum has done the legwork of giving us a little bit of a preamble of sorts, where we are heading into this event, what's going on in the zeitgeist of WWE at the time, and so on and so forth like that. So, Callum, what's going on heading into Money in the Bank 2008?
Okay, so obviously it's going to be slightly different. I'll try and give like a wider picture of what WWE's landscape is in 2008. But essentially with the Money in the Bank situation, the biggest story coming into this is the fact that Jeff Hardy, who was originally qualified, the first person that qualified for this Money in the Bank ladder match, and many people's pick to win, and has been revealed in recent, like, spoiler podcasts or whatever and stuff like that, that he was supposed to win the match, was suspended in, I think March the 11th, I think was the date that he was suspended, for 60 days for his second violation of the wellness policy. So he was taken out of the match and they decided not to replace him. So this was was originally supposed to be the second 8-man Money in the Bank ladder match, became the first ever 7-man Money in the Bank ladder match. To get into a wider context, WrestleMania 24 is triple threat match for the WWE Championship, John Cena, Triple H and Randy Orton. And on the SmackDown side, it's Edge versus The Undertaker, which is the main event for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Damn good match.
Yeah. So those were the situations going in. The previous Money in the Bank winner was Mr. Kennedy, who's also in this match, but he unfortunately was unable to cash in that because he lost the briefcase to Edge, who then cashed in on The Undertaker and became one of SmackDown's fixtures in the main event scene. Started with the that was the start of, well, not the start, but like one of the catalysts towards the whole Vicky Guerrero situation with Edge. So that's kind of the general picture of where we're going into this thing. Chris Jericho's only recently, in terms of the people that are in this match, Chris Jericho's only recently returned to WWE, came back in late 2007. So there's a lot of interesting stories. ECW is still a brand at this point, still chugging along, not exactly has a lot of prominence. It's going into the phase where it was a big deal and is now fading into the essentially a new breed area where you have the kind of hanging on ECW legends, the likes of Tommy Dreamer and such. But it's now transitioning into the third brand, essentially, where you put the people that aren't quite good enough to be on Raw or SmackDown. So that's kind of the like a wider context of what we can expect to see in this type of match. Just wanting to list the participants as well. The participants in this match, people who haven't seen this or can't remember because it's not exactly the most memorable Money in the Bank ladder match in history, is Chris Jericho, CM Punk, Carlito, John Morrison, Mr. Kennedy, MVP, and
Shelton Benjamin.
Someone else. Yeah, Shelton Benjamin. That's the ultimate forgettable one in this sense. And then also Chris Jericho is Intercontinental Champion at this point. MVP is United States Champion, and John Morrison is one half of the WWE Tag Team Champions with The Miz.
This just goes to show you how WWE looked at the titles at the time to be like, no, we don't need to have these titles defended.
Yeah.
This match is actually a very good viewpoint of where WWE was in the transition to like the PG Cena brand where titles don't really matter as much, and it's WrestleMania, so let's just throw flippy guys in a match.
It is quite interesting. This is the final WrestleMania prior to the PG era coming in.
I believe the announcement was made during the build to this WrestleMania that there would be like no more bra and panties matches, no more blood, things like that. The blood might have come later, actually.
Well, it kind of is, because this is the way that I know that this is the final PG WrestleMania is the fact that this is the final WrestleMania to have a Playboy cover girl as one of the tag team wrestling stars, as Maria Kanellis was posing. Yeah, was posing for Playboy.
Wasn't it like a Playboy bunny tag match or some type of?
Ashley Sarah was in it or something. Yeah.
Yeah, it was Maria and Ashley against Beth Phoenix and Melina.
Melina with Santino, and I know that Snoop Dogg was there, and I really do think this is called like the Playboy pillow tag team match or something.
It was just a standard tag team. It was just a standard tag team match, but this is just like encapsulating. This is the final WrestleMania of a different era for WWE, a different time where you could see, naked women in the Playboy things for WWE and stuff like that. So it's a transition point. So it does make more sense, even if this match isn't particularly memorable. It's a memorable event for that reason.
And we're going to experience it again. Hopefully you guys will have fun experiencing it with us. So as I mentioned before, what you're going to do is go to the WWE Network at the link below, sync it up to 22 minutes and 11 seconds, and get ready to hit your button, because we are going to be counting down here. 3, 2, 1, play. So Kim Kardashian is not on your screen. It should be the briefcase just dangling and Justin Roberts announcing it right after the bell. That's what you should be saying right now, everybody. John Morrison's coming out now. So, first impression of this, I love the set.
Yeah, because they were still making the sets look unique.
Now, this pay-per-view was one of the first ones that I had seen when I got back into wrestling. This actually was the first pay-per-view that I went over to Dace's to get just like a bunch of people together and do that. So I have some fond memories about this, because it was just kind of like, all right, I'm invested and I'm getting to watch WrestleMania without like a little like stream on a shitty website, like that kind of thing.
Yep.
And you started off with a guy like John Morrison. I liked John Morrison a lot. I mean, I still like John Morrison.
Look at the Shawn Michaels standee in the background there. Interesting to note that his Titantron was all clips of him hitting the Moonlight Drive on CM Punk.
Just to add a little bit more context into this, John Morrison defeated the Miz to qualify for the Money in the Bank match.
That's not right. They're tag team partners.
Well, tag teams don't matter in WWE.
Well,
Look, we're back to that point again.
yeah. The more things change, the more they stay the same. Let me tell you.
Carlito defeated Cody Rhodes to qualify.
That's so sin.
It's I mean, Carlito is just one of the most forgettable people, I think.
And again, we were younger at this time, and I saw every one of these guys in this match as like, oh man, they're just one big win away from being the future of the entire industry.
Actually, I was older at this time. It's weird. Like things change.
Yeah, what are you, Benjamin Button? Shelton Benjamin Button?
Now, I remember liking Morrison a lot and thinking that he had a world title run in him. I remember thinking that Carlito had some promise that he wasn't capitalizing on, and I remember thinking around this time with the gold standard, I'm like, oh, okay, he's clearly going to win a world title at some point. Maybe not get like a multi-time title reign or something, but even with ECW, I was like, Shelton Benjamin clearly should win the ECW title, and it suddenly just didn't really happen. I don't know why. CM Punk, he was very much people's like perspective of, oh, this guy's the future, that kind of thing.
I think he's the definite crowd favorite in this match. Again, just to build more stuff. Just to again, it's a bit more context with who the superstars were in 2008. Shelton Benjamin defeated Jimmy Wang Yang to qualify, and CM Punk defeated Big Daddy V to qualify.
Mabel or Viscera.
Yeah.
Why was Jimmy Wang Yang even in the contention to qualify?
Because it's 2008, Tony.
It's just.
I mean, you got to hear some of the other names really, because Kennedy, who's going out now, the former Money in the Bank, Mr. Money in the Bank, defeated Val Venus to qualify.
Get out.
2008, Val Venus. Yes.
Okay, well, in fairness to the company, we're having a little bit of fun here, but they are coming off the lowest point that they have ever had.
It's a bit of a lull
time, fiasco.
Yeah.
And I actually think that this WrestleMania is pretty good when you consider the crap that they were going through at the time.
This is like one of their first forays into the open air stadium as well for WrestleManias.
Believe the year before at 23, that is when Vince decided that he wanted WrestleMania every year at a stadium, no more Allstate Arena, no more Madison Square Garden. Okay, so one of the stories that you'll see playing out through this match is Punk and Kennedy, because the year prior, Punk was going to win, and then Kennedy hit him in the face with a ladder to get the freedom to climb the ladder and get the briefcase.
Yeah, there's a little bit of tension between them. At least that's carrying on. Wow, this entrance by Kennedy's taking a long time.
Well, he's going to drop the mic, isn't he?
Oh, no. Just
they don't drop the... What? That's his entire gimmick. What's the point? Oh, does MVP still have the... Yeah!
I used to like that.
Yeah, he's got the little blow-up house. I thought this dude was going to be like The Rock level superstardom. At 14 years old, this is what I was thinking.
The entrance isn't quite as... These entrances aren't quite as spectacular as WrestleManias nowadays, are they? I mean, that's pretty cool.
Well, hold on a second, because these are their regular entrances. They didn't even need, MVP had that as a regular entrance before, it was like no more props and no more anything, and let's all people land.
If you all hear about people that were almost into that for some reason were able to qualify for the Money in the Bank ladder match, MVP defeated Jamie Noble to qualify for the Money in the Bank match.
Jamie Noble?
Imagine if it would have been Jamie Noble versus Jimmy Wang Yang, and one of them had to get in.
Jamie Noble, Jimmy Wang Yang, Val Venus. I think that's a good Money in the Bank.
We have to imagine that, like, Jamie Noble being in the match, winning it, and then trying to cash it in on, like, Randy Orton or something. And
this is interesting to see Jericho in a real transition phase in his career, where he's got the shorter hair, but he's still got the long tights because he's still trying to be Y2J, and he hadn't exactly found himself yet as a heel. Very fun.
He was a babyface still at this point.
Yeah, he was still just being Y2J.
Yeah. Oh, wow, the old Intercontinental Championship.
Yes.
You mean the old one before they went back to the old one?
Yeah, exactly. It's so weird to see it now. It's so
ugly. It is an uglier belt as compared to the one that they're using now and that they used prior. But this version of the IC title has a lot of good memories with guys like Jericho and Benoit and Edge and Christian. A lot of Canadians held this form of the Intercontinental Championship.
Is Chris Jericho, just to round off the set, Chris Jericho defeated Jeff Hardy to qualify for the Money in the Bank ladder match.
And he also defeated Jeff Hardy to capture that Intercontinental Championship, which was his 8th Intercontinental Championship.
Is he a heel or a face right now?
He's babyface at this point.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's full on, come on, babyface.
Yeah, so this is just
That was throwing me off about the Jeff Hardy thing, because I was like, wait, Hardy was a babyface.
Yeah, but they were in friendly competition mode, and they had to get the belt off Hardy because...
Yeah.
Because
of Hardy.
Yeah, so...
By the way, how good does it look to see just a plain, solid black briefcase?
It's pretty good compared to the current ones.
I like that gold briefcase that they used for Seth Rollins. That, to me, was the best one that they've ever done.
Well, Shelton Benjamin would have to win that, though. Because he's the gold standard.
Because he's the gold standard.
I like MVP just standing in the middle.
I do like the fact that this is the right in the time where Shelton Benjamin was only in this match to be Shelton Benjamin in these matches.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, this is before Kofi took that spot over.
And the one right after. And maybe even 2010. Was he still there for the 2010 one?
Off the top of my head, no idea.
I think he was, yeah. I think he was still in the 2010 one. But
another aesthetic point.
Already draped the ladder over the apron.
Well, yeah, I believe that was that Punk that did that?
So somebody was just kind of like, we got to set this up so we don't forget.
MVP's got a bit of a size issue here.
Is this spoiler alerts for this, I guess, if you really are the type that's like, I didn't want to know. Is this the one with Matt Hardy? That's the next one, isn't it?
No, we'll see Matt Hardy in some formal fashion in this match.
Boy, Tony, you really weren't listening when we were talking before.
I'm like, I'm losing track of things. I do remember this, though. I remember thinking that this was fucking awesome.
Oh my god, he's gonna moonsault with the ladder. That's fucking awesome.
That was one of those moves where I was like, that doesn't make any sense. It was very reckless, but fuck yeah.
Aesthetically, the ladders are just they're black ladders. They're not the shiny silver ladders that we see about 20 of at ringside now when they do these matches.
It's like, I don't think the Johnny Mundo of 2018 would be doing a move like that.
I think he would be.
I think he has a bit more control over his body now. Well, also that's a pretty small ladder compared to the ones they're using nowadays, and that's not too far away from the briefcase. Yeah,
and right now I see it as it's overkill with the hyperbole of those ladders. Like,
I like the super tall, you're going into the stratosphere type. I like that.
Climb the ladder, Kennedy, go!
I like when they do a spot like that because it's like, this slingshot thing makes no sense. It's one of the stupidest moves in wrestling history.
Yeah. I would say for people that haven't watched this match or haven't watched it in a while, don't expect like, that's a nice cool spot. Again, watch Morrison. Don't expect the like a ladder match to the standards of the NXT Takeover ladder match recently.
Oh yeah.
No. Or even the ladder matches we can probably expect at Money in the Bank this year. Like they're still learning the kinks of this match at the moment.
How in shape is John Morrison here?
He is. He's indeed in shape.
I think there's a lot of people in this match that you wouldn't really like link to a ladder match.
Yeah, I wouldn't think like Kennedy is a go-to ladder match guy or MVP or
bang. Love that spot.
And that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's when the crowd's like, oh shit.
At least when they were qualifying for Money in the Bank, it was also, you're trying to qualify and make your WrestleMania moment. That's why I always like Money in the Bank being at Mania.
Do you know what I'm spotting a lot about this? I'm noticing so many signs in the audience. Like, you don't see it. You don't see it nowadays. Yeah, I know. You just don't see it nowadays.
And I mean, the fans are also just enjoying the match. You know?
Oh, Roman Reigns is in it.
They're not chanting, this is awesome. They're not chanting. Oh,
that was a fuck up.
I think you guys are like a second ahead of me, actually.
Actually, I said oh when he hit him in the face with the ladder, and then the fuck up came a second later.
Yeah, I'm at 33, 37, 38, 39, 40.
So what did you think about Punk
I'm
at this time in his career?
He
Punk,
needed something.
At this time,
big.
I was kind of like leaning more along the lines of I can see why people like this guy, but I don't see him as being the future. Yeah, he was kind of like intercontinental level to me, and I wasn't rooting for him to win this. This,
I agree.
if I remember correctly, I think I had wanted Jericho to win, but I don't remember 100% for sure because shit, it was 10 years ago. So
Yeah.
I think just because of the Mr. Money in the Bank moniker, I had MVP in mind, but at the same time, Kennedy was really involved in the world title picture, and he said that if he won here, he was going to cash in and make the triple threat a fatal four-way, so I wanted to see that happen.
I'm trying to find like any kind of... Ugh.
Jesus Christ.
I don't think I have anything posted online of my opinions about WrestleMania 24 at the time.
Yeah. God, if from what I know about Mr. Kennedy now, like I would never let him do that sort of move on me. I don't know what I thought about Punk at this point. So he's not really someone that stands out to me until around about 2009, 2010 with the Jeff Hardy feud.
I'm gonna agree with you, Callum. I really liked him as a ECW champion. I thought he was cool looking, but I wasn't as fully invested in him as I would become very shortly after.
I mean, Punk's been here around about a year and a half at this point. So in WWE, obviously been in OVW for a long time, but he came in with the start of the new ECW brand. But he's always been considered like a reasonably big deal, and there was a lot of people. I remember a lot of people being like really into him because of obviously his history of Ring of Honor and stuff like that. But he's just
I didn't start watching the Indies until 2010.
Yeah, but I didn't understand. I didn't get that about him until a lot later. Oh. I always loved that wheelbarrow kick spot by Benjamin.
Why isn't Benjamin in this year's Money in the Bank ladder match? For the simple fact that he's Shelton Benjamin and should be. Like, he was Mr. Money in the Bank spot guy. He should have been in this match just because.
I just don't think I don't think he can do that anymore as much.
Speaking of Mr. Money in the Bank spot guy.
Oh, this.
Yeah, I remember this now. Fuck that, man.
I don't believe that's happened this soon. Like this match, like doesn't feel like it's been on that long.
Oh, it's almost over, buddy.
Oh, I love Carlito's face.
Yeah, I know, and he's already Benjamin's already dead.
Now if that spot were to happen today, I would have it on my list as potential best spots of the year. It's still definitely impressive as shit. This not so
terrifying.
much.
yeah.
Oh, now, he fell on top Punk. Ow!
And then he hit his head on the ladder, the little tip of the ladder there. What's that one sign say? Something about the yak? Fire the yak?
Yeah, I thought
What's
I read
the
that.
Yak?
I don't know who the yak could be.
Related to the Mantar?
Yeah, it's a few years too late, really, with that.
Just look at the way that they hang the briefcase, too. It's just like that little loop.
It's not that, like, WWE symbol. Yeah. Everything is so branded now. What the fuck? There's no, like, raw authenticity to it. It's all, look at this branded thing.
Oh,
and I always love that spot.
It was a Jericho spot.
Yeah, I always like that one, too.
So this match is like, it's short, and there seems to be quite a lot happening in a short window of time, but there's a lot of really good moments in this.
Yeah.
I remember really liking this when it happened, and it was just kind of like, all right, this sets the standard. Then it ended up being the Edge Taker match. That was my favorite of the night, but
underrated.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. You know, this is what's fun about ladder matches is you can have spot, then some other people come in, they do a spot, some other people come in, they do a spot, and it's not as taxing. Like this CM Punk thing, jump right there. It's like
and Carlito.
Yeah,
that was pretty fun.
Good. The crowd is so into it.
There's a sign in the crowd that just says, "I'm gay." Yeah. We all just at the same time saw it.
I think there was a mic check off the top there. I can't stop looking at it now. Oh, I know what's happening now. Yeah, this is gonna be painful.
It is kind of
man, this is gonna
bad
hurt.
when things are cynical enough that, like, you know, Jericho's going up there, and I'm like, I know that he doesn't win this match, but even like at the time, I'm sure I was like, Carlito's still hanging around, he's not winning, you know, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I wish I could turn my brain off sometimes when I'm watching wrestling and just sort of enjoy it like an 8-year-old or something like that would.
Even to that, like, it's a lot harder now, which is, you know, not to get way off topic, but the Asuka thing, when Asuka lost, it was just because my brain said, oh, she'll get out of it. And
yeah.
MVP getting...
Same thing with Undertaker losing.
MVP is going to be balling in the bank. Oh, shit. It's Matt Hardy. He's not yet broken.
Crowd going crazy for this.
The crowd is fucking going insane.
Yeah. As they should. It was entertaining feud in its own right.
You know, only a few months after this, Matt Hardy and MVP would be tag team champions.
Again, tag team wrestling in WWE.
Or actually, they might have already been it, and this was like, because I know Matt Hardy won the United States Championship only, I think, a month after this. So I think it was before they were tag team champions.
I do wish that Jeff would have been there, and that would have been the final spot, so that Jeff could have been able to celebrate with his brother. But that's, you know,
I think that might have been the original idea.
It probably was.
But can you, like, with the Punk win? Obviously, Punk wasn't the first choice to win it. Spoilers if you're actually really invested in knowing who wins this match. But with Jeff Hardy obviously being the first choice to win it, like, why do you think they went with Punk as opposed to Jericho, which would have been a bit more of a safer bet, really?
I think part of it was maybe just the safe idea of like, well, Jeff had the suspension, and let's go with the straight edge guy. I think part of it might have been that. Oh yeah, fuck! I forgot about this little spot.
Holy shit, that's cool.
Morrison's looking really good in this match.
Which, by the way, look at how dark it's gotten. Oh, goddamn.
That's a fantastic landing by Morrison, because you can easily like catch a leg on that instead. I mean, obviously it's not great for him.
Yeah.
But like it's so easy to really fuck that up and really hurt yourself by actually catching your leg or anything like that. He just landed flush on it.
Even though this is seen as a spot fest, like there's still a lot of psychology in these bumps. Whereas now it's kind of just balls to the wall.
Yeah, a little bit.
Next time that they show the sky, take a look at how dark it's gotten from the beginning of this match. Well,
it's actually even cloudy out there. I have been looking at the sky at the time.
It was actually the first match. Actually, there was rain.
He spit the apple.
Yeah,
that's actually fucking rad.
Yeah, there was actually rain during the first match between JBL and Finlay.
Oh, I think I see a little bit of rainfall here.
Yeah. God damn,
somebody's about to fall.
Oh.
God, wait, here comes the karma.
Karma wasn't in WWE at this point.
Damn it, Tony.
God, she would have been a great Money in the Bank hold.
Code breaker with the ladder. Love it.
I like the code breaker.
Yeah.
I was so happy when he started doing that move.
Yeah, he needed an actual like finisher to pin people with. Like the line salt was good, but it was just
he had tried briefly in 2001 to do the skull crushing finale, which he called the breakdown.
Yeah, but that was like he didn't look very good using it, I don't think.
See, I think probably at this point I was sitting there going, "Oh, Jericho's gonna win," and then I was like, "Oh wait, there's Punk."
See, that's the one moment I don't really like about this match, because Punk's just been hit by a code breaker through a ladder and he's immediately getting up.
I think he must have gotten a hint from a referee, like, time to go.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
But then again, what was Jericho planning on doing if Punk wouldn't have gotten up there?
Maybe he thought, somebody else would come in and stop him.
Yeah,
maybe.
That's
maybe he was just going to take the briefcase down and just be like, fuck it.
Yeah.
You know what's really cool, and to go back to your point, Callum,
swinging it.
The reason I think that they went with a Punk and not a Jericho is because they were still invested in launching a career, whether it be Jeff Hardy's or CM Punk. They wanted to launch a career. They didn't think Jericho needed the accolade. Whereas
Oh, that's such a good like way to like eliminate someone.
And again, you've trapped him. Everybody's out. Love the psychology in this match. This match was really short, by the way. A good time.
And there's
CM
Punk
Punk
with the win.
is Mr. Money in the Bank for the first time in his career.
He would make it a lot better run the second time around because coming out of this, he'd end up feuding with JBL and doing jack shit.
Feud with JBL and have a mini feud with Batista.
And then was punted by Randy Orton and kicked it out of.
By the way, look at that crowd shot. Everything isn't as perfectly lit as it would become.
Yeah, but it looks great though.
Looks fantastic.
It's quite interesting because obviously we were concentrating more on the match than the actual like things surrounding it. But there were 6 commentators in that match because it was Raw, SmackDown, and ECW commentators.
And it doesn't seem oversaturated though.
Yeah, which I guess it's the quality of it really because it's got if you were to do the Money in the Bank nowadays, you probably they might split and do 3 commentators
it would just be Corey Graves, Michael Cole, and probably Byron.
Yeah.
But God. See the replay of Benjamin going through the.
He didn't do anything after that at all, did he?
No, that was just like his thing to do. We just need you to die in this match.
Oh, Jericho falling on top of Punk is one of the gnarliest things that I saw in this match. By the way, Punk looks like it's 2008 and he just came out of a Hot Topic.
Probably did.
I actually don't think Punk would shop at Hot Topic, but that's the look he was going for, clearly.
This is still just straight laced babyface CM Punk. He didn't really have sort of like a real edge or like savvy to his character yet.
Early on, he reminded me of like a Bret Hart, where he looked like he was cool for the time, but he also had good virtues. So I thought of him like a Bret the Hitman Hart.
Because of the stars on the plates
and the jet black hair.
Also, Bret Hart is a big fan of Pepsi.
And CM Punk, the C stands for Canadian.
Canadian Mountie Punk. It makes perfect sense. And the Mountie always gets his briefcase.
Punk screwed Punk. That's what they're going to be saying at the trial.
Look at Baby John Cena here.
All right, I'm pausing my thing now. Don't want to see any more of this.
Yeah, there's hustle, loyalty, respect, and Randy Orton and Triple H in a match that should have been John Cena versus Randy Orton. That Triple H thing never made any sense.
Money in the Bank, but I think it holds up well. It's not particularly great Money in the Bank, but it's good for the time.
And it served its purpose. Like, the crowd's hyped. And that's my favorite thing going back and watching older stuff. The crowd, they're so genuinely into what they're watching and they're not trying to hijack the show.
Yeah. I mean, going on forward on from this point, if you want to look at certain wrestlers, I mean, I can't really say too much about the likes of Carlito or Shelton Benjamin because they kind of just stayed in the background a little bit. I think Benjamin became United States champion a little bit further down the line. I think he was the one.
Matt Hardy for it.
Yeah, he was the one that beat Matt Hardy for it. But Punk obviously would cash in on Edge just after Night of Champions to win the championship. Chris Jericho would stay as Intercontinental Champion for a little while before losing it to Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston, God, like the young Kofi Kingston, the one that still had the Jamaican accent.
By the way, Jericho is about to go on the absolute best run of his career.
Yeah, definitely one of a lot of people will now put the list Jericho high above that, but this is definitely one of the peaks of his career. Morrison and Miz would stay champions for a while before they get split up in a draft.
And Morrison almost became something cool as a single star on the SmackDown brand, but they never pulled the trigger on him.
Yeah.
MVP would lose the United States Championship and then go on to a losing streak because they're always good for getting people over.
That one, yeah.
He would just kind of team with Mark Henry before they let him go, right?
I mean, he won the United States Championship again before being released again, so they still had a little bit of faith in him, but I think they kind of he kind of lost steam after losing the United States Championship. Then Kennedy like peters out quite quickly. Just he turns babyface, but he gets injured a lot and issues with suspensions and stuff like that. So he just never. Yeah, and then went to TNA, and
but
then we stopped paying attention to.
Yeah, with everything in TNA, he couldn't sustain his credibility or popularity.
And then Carlito would kind of just fade into the mid-card for a while until he gets into a tag team with his brother Primo, and then they get a little bit of like momentum back in the tag team division around about 2009. But that's about it. That's about it, really, for Carlito.
Yeah. So you look back 10 years ago, and these are the people that are being positioned as top guys coming soon, and you skip to 2018, and the majority of them aren't around.
Like, arguably the biggest star of them is still Jericho.
And it's unarguable that underneath Jericho, there's no one else other than Punk to kind of say is a big star.
At least in WWE.
Like, you got Shelton Benjamin back, but he's not really doing anything. At least this year, Jeff Hardy's not involved in the Money in the Bank ladder match again. So that's another thing. But
he is the United States champion, at least.
Yeah, he's a better position like that.
Matt Hardy is still in WWE, still a champion. That's pretty cool.
It's really the older people that were already in the company for like 10 years before this point are still in this company and still big stars.
Which is interesting because 10 years ago, that was still kind of the scene. If you look at the main matches here, it's Edge and Taker, who have been with the company for a decade plus. It's Michael Flair. Big Show is in a spotlighted match with Floyd Money Mayweather. And John Cena, Triple H, Randy Orton, who except Randy Orton and John at the time were younger stars, but Triple H was well into a decade plus of his career.
Yeah. How things change.
What's old is new again. It's more about the established veterans, because we'd had that brief period of time in the 2010s where it was like, we got to get some young guys in here, and didn't really work out for the company.
So in 2028, we're going to be looking back at this year's Money in the Bank and being like, oh, imagine when we thought that...
Matt, remember Rusev Day? Huh?
Yeah, like that kind of a thing. Remember when they used to do the women's Money in the Bank?
I was actually going to say, remember when we thought women's Money in the Banks were a big deal? Now they do like 3 ladder matches a year with the women.
Now we've had the first ever Inferno women's Money in the Bank Hell in a Cell Elimination Chamber Battle Royal. But it's the first one ever, so it's important. Who knows? We don't know who's going to win Money in the Bank this year. It could be anybody out of the list.
Yeah.
Could be Samoa Joe.
We do know that they're in Chicago, and that we're going to be hearing plenty of CM Punk chants.
Maybe CM Punk wins it again. 3rd time.
Yeah. At least during the Roman match, anyway.
But we will talk about Money in the Bank 2018 when Money in the Bank 2018 predictions come up. Any other thoughts on 2008's Money in the Bank?
Again, like I said, it's a good match. I think in the long run, I think this sort of match and the fact that there was loads of champions in this match, and I'm kind of happy that it has its own pay-per-view as opposed to being still at WrestleMania. I know some people think that it should be back into the showpiece, like it's a showpiece match that should be for the big show, but I think WrestleMania is big enough as it is, and that Money in the Bank can carry its own show. So I'm kind of happy they moved away and made it its own unique event.
I like that Money in the Bank now. It seems almost like the modern day form of King of the Ring. And other than that, when I look at this match, a lot of sadness struck me as far as like, wow, none of these guys, or almost none of these guys, mean anything. And then I thought a lot about the aesthetic of WWE at the time, where, there's so much more branding to what they do, and it just really, I think, clutters the screen sometimes and impedes on the matches.
Fair enough. If you followed along with us and you have anything that you wanted to chime in on, make sure that you do that in the comment section below. And tell us what you thought about this match if it's the first time you're seeing it too. Same thing. If you want to be aware of the next things that we're going to be posting, it's going to be obviously on the YouTube channel here on Smark Out Moment. So hit the subscribe button on that and ring the bell for notifications. And also keep checking smarkoutmoment.com and follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Smark Out Moment. All over the place, Smark Out Moment. That's where you're going to find all of our content there. Fanboys Anonymous, if you're interested in these kind of things, every so often we'll do a commentary track for a movie or a television show episode or something like that. And if you really, really are adamant that you really want to see more of these things, maybe we can do some more when it comes to the fanboy side of that kind of stuff too. And also, tell me what you think about the potential name change. Should it be Smark Announce Table or should it be Fan Announce Table?
I like Fan Announce Table.
Callum?
What about you, Callum?
Doesn't bother me. It's a name. Name's fine.
What's in the name?
Yeah, you throw a bunch of monkeys in a room with a typewriter, and you're gonna get a little idiom out of it at the very least. So, that's it, I guess, for this. Other than plugs for everybody else here. So, Robert, anything you want to toss out there to the crowd?
Follow Dude Felice, Twitter, Instagram. Keep an eye on the weeklies because we're always pumping them out, and check out WrestleZone.com as well.
Callum?
Yeah, you can just find me on Twitter at Wigmeister14. And I'll occasionally tweet something. Maybe at you if you're lucky.
Tell him why you think Dolph Ziggler is the greatest wrestler of all time.
And we're done. Let's
Thanks for listening to this. As always, everybody, all your support is greatly appreciated. Buy a t-shirt if you want to, or hit us up on the Patreon or anything else like that if you really want to show support in some other kind of ways. And we'll see you when we see you. This has been another Smark Out Moment. We're being counted out.